Within the range of deceased individuals who seem to remain or come back as an apparition showing signs of intelligent thought can be split into two more categories. One is the typical haunting that takes place in a reoccurring manner as if the individual is stuck or hanging around the haunted location. However, there's also what we call either a crisis apparition or a deathbed visitation. A deathbed visitation is when an individual, prior to the moment of their death, sees a loved person from their past, an angel, or sometimes even Jesus or another religious figure. The person, in the state of passing to the next plane of existence, is comforted by the appearance and is led into death by the proposed apparition. On the morning of the day he died, his mother, having left the room to fetch him something, heard him call and hastened back, found him sitting up in bed, looking towards the corner of the room, and he said to her, "There's a nice old man come for me. He is holding out his arms for me. I must go. Don't fret, mother." And he fell back gently on his pillow and was gone, without any struggle for breath, and with a smile of joy on his face, which remained. From Barrett, 1926. A crisis apparition is typically the appearance of an apparition of a person of importance to the person seeing the apparition. This manifestation usually occurs directly after the passing of the loved one and seems to be used to convey a message of peace to the loved ones being left in the world of the living. A number of studies have established that a high percentage of bereaved persons have visions of the deceased. For instance, as many as 75% of parents who lose a child to death will have some kind of apparition of that child within a year of the loss. This experience is a relief for most of the parents and will greatly reduce their grief. Ray Moody. Ignorance promotes fear. As children, we learn that the best way to deal with fear of the dark is to turn on a light and see what's there. Death is not the enemy. Living in constant fear of it is. Norman Cousins. This is an attitude that all of the members of SPLAT hold dear. So many people stay ignorant to the ideas of death, spirits, and life. Far too many people. Religions all over the world teach that it is not wise to fear death. Are there things to be cautious of while broadening your knowledge of the spirit world? Certainly there is. However, knowledge is the number one key to knowing what is good or evil, harmful or innocent. Certainly, evil can disguise itself as something pure, but it never fully obtains that purity. And in turn, we have the gift from God to discern evil. All we have to do is ask for guidance. This is why God made for us His angels. If we ask God to give us the knowledge as to what is of God and what is not, the understanding will be given to us. So instead of simply fearing what is in the dark, we all should seek an understanding that with God and His angels at our sides, nothing within the darkness can harm us.
Right. We have some information here just about the history of angels in general. I'm a computer guy, so I like to use certain terms to describe angels using computer words. I like to say they help interface heaven and earth. The word angel, it predates Christianity and Islam and other religions. It's actually first referred to in Greek as the word angelos. They have a role in three of the major world religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. And the study of angels is known as angelology. Okay, I'm going to start out with angels in Judaism. The first referred to in the book of Daniel. They exist as a task of God, and whatever task they do, whether they bring a message, perform some kind of function, they kind of just phase out after that. In intended for just specific roles, and they don't really have a form or shape. Usually people don't become angels after death. Angels are just mystical beings that were created specifically by God. They fulfill a variety of functions, like I said. They convey information, they help protect people, they rescue people. They were often cared for the Israelites, and they performed basically the wrath of God on Israel's enemies. Here's some of the famous angels in Judaism, which pretty much is the same as Christianity. It's in the Bible. Michael is a guardian angel of the people of Israel. Carries out God's mission of kindness. There's Gabriel, he's the angel of judgment and strength. And Uriel illuminates the right path for people. And there's Raphael, the healer. Islam also has angels. Surprisingly, I didn't know they were so closely tied to Christianity and Judaism, but they teach that angels have no free will, can only do what God commands them. It's one of their main beliefs in Islam, having angels there. The angel Gabriel actually was the angel that delivered the Quran to their prophet Muhammad. So they have a pretty significant role for angels in their religion. And even some of their famous angels take the names of the angels from Christianity and Judaism. They have Gabriel, Raphael, and Michael, but their roles are slightly changed around a bit. But they do have them. Of course, in Christianity, there's references to angels all throughout the Bible. I put some of them up here just that relates to the Christmas season, such as when the angel Gabriel from Mary, she was going to give birth to Christ. It's an angel appeared to Joseph and also to the shepherds in Bethlehem. Those are just three of probably hundreds of different references. The Catholic Church breaks down angels into 9 different choirs or types of angels. This was conceived by Thomas Aquinas. He was a famous theologian and philosopher in the early Catholic Church. He basically took some readings from St. Paul and some other readings in the New Testament, derived these different classes of angels. Here's a famous painting of the 9 choirs of angels, and here's a listing of the 9 choirs, which I'm going to briefly go through each one so you have an understanding of what they're all about. And the 9 choirs are kind of divided into hierarchies of power, and these are the 3 main hierarchies here. Okay, the most powerful of the angels are the seraphim. They're guardian spirits who are said to carry the throne of God. They have 4 different faces, that of a man, ox, lion, and griffin vulture. They're mentioned in a bunch of places throughout the Bible. We'll have some readings up there if you want to look them up yourself. They're portrayed at the top of the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant was the vessel that was built to house the 10 Commandments. A lot of modern depictions of seraphim or even cherubim or just Valentine's Day little baby angels flying around. But that's where they originally came from. Next up is the cherubim. They have 6 wings to cover their face, to cover their feet, and to use for flying. And they're said to fly around the throne of God, just constantly chanting, "Holy, holy, holy." And that's an icon depiction of what one might look like. I kind of have these broken out. I'll skim through these. Not too much is known about the rest of the choirs of angels, or if they really exist, but the thrones are said to be angels of pure humility, peace and submission. A lot of the lower choirs of angels need them to access God. They're living symbols of God's justice and authority. There's the dominions, or leadership angels, and warrior angels against evil. There's the virtues, they govern all of nature, have control over seasons and stars and moon, and they're in charge of miracles, courage, grace, valor. There's the powers. They're warrior angels who fight against evil. Principalities, they work with the powers. Their primary function is to look over groups of people. A lot of countries, and even towns and villages, they have patron angels. And, this is kind of where these groups of angels fall into. Archangels are probably the most famous types of angels. This is where we get St. Michael and Gabriel, Raphael. And these are just some descriptions of, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with St. Michael. He's a guardian angel. He's mentioned in Revelations. His name means who is like God. St. Gabriel, he's mentioned in the book of Daniel. He means the strength of God. And St. Raphael is referred to as the medicine of God. The Catholic Church teaches that each person has a guardian angel assigned to them to protect over them. Also, like I said, a lot of countries and other things have guardian angels.
Angel of God, my guardian, dear to whom God's love cometh here, ever this day be at my side to light and guard and rule and guide. Amen.
And this is a famous prayer that's said to one's guardian angel.
And with all this talk of angels, we really want everybody to really be very careful of what we consider fake angels. There's a growing fad, and actually it's been a fad for passed on how many centuries, reading like angel tarot cards and other things of that nature. And I also have some pictures here of what they consider angel guides and different healing practices. They can be very misleading. And we're just going to leave it at that because it can be a good thing, but it can also lead to very negative things.
Diễn cái độ đó là có những diễn rất là mạnh đấy cả. Các bạn thấy những độ đó có thiên sẵn biển đó就有觀音顯靈嘅片段 ，OK。如果假設嗰道光係一個觀音顯靈嘅話，有幾似係我哋由細到大觀音像
descending from the sky or an angel. All those people saw were everyday meteorological effects. But due to a lack of understanding, they saw it as an angel. Don't fall prey to this kind of misinterpretation. Pastor David M. Wiley, age 82, born 1927, passed away 2010. Pastor David M. Wiley, or as I call him Dave, was ordained in 1982. He was pastor and member at the Pleasant View Mennonite Church in Shellsburg. Along with his wife Laura, Dave was the co-owner of Wiley's Health Center for 40 years. I consider Dave a very good friend and inspiration. Dave was a very devout Christian man and was given by God the ability to see into the spirit world. Seeing is biblically described as abilities such as those of a psychic that are not self-obtained but are given as part of the gift of discernment. Whereas discernment is the gift of God to know what in the spirit world is of God and what is not.
Now, what I'm about to share with you concerning demons and angels in this house, the people who had this house built and those who lived in it professed Christianity. However, the father lived a rather evil life, and because of that, things didn't go so well spiritually, and demons came in and possessed portions of this house and controlled his life quite a bit. So when they decided they were wanting to sell the property, we were led to buy it. After we moved in, we went up to the second floor to place our bedrooms, furniture.